Hello, my name is Christian Thomas, and I will be talking about questioning strategies today. Allow me to share my screen. Share screen. Hmm. Okay. Sharing. Remove. Presentation. Are I can't think right now. Where's my present? Okay. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. Again, my name is Christian Thomas, and I will be presenting questioning strategies today. There are 4 levels of understanding depth of knowledge levels. The first level is recall and reproduction. This is where students recall facts and information that they've previously learned that's really quick, that should be automatically retained in their memory. For level 2, this is skills and concepts. This requires application of knowledge and understanding of concepts in a more deepen or in more depth of the material. The third level is strategic thinking. This level involves students reasoning, planning, and more complex thinking to solve the question. You cannot just put, oh, this happened and that's it. One little fact. You have to actually understand the question, be able to have questions about the question, and then give me a brief, not summary, but a good explanation of the question. Level 4 is extended thinking. This is basically a building block for strategic thinking. So it goes on top of strategic thinking, and it allows students to have a more complex question, but it has open-ended reasoning and critical thinking skills. But it involves those two. Okay. Why are these knowledge levels essential? Depth of knowledge levels are essential in the classroom because they provide a structured framework that helps educators be able to gauge the complexity of content and tasks. DOK can help ensure that students are engaged. Students are building off of the foundations. They're building off of what they're supposed to learn, their TEKS or their standards. They're building that in-depth critical thinking skills, and they're also building those increased problem-solving skills. Our first one for depth of knowledge levels and question types. Our first one is recall. And a few examples of recall that I put on there is, what are 7 continents of the world? Very easy. Students have learned this since probably 2nd grade. What is the role of executive branch of the US government? Another one. To the point, factual, what does that branch of government do? What year did the Civil War begin? What is the longest river in the world? What is the imaginary line that divides the earth into the northern and southern hemispheres? Recall is just factual information, straight to the point, no in-depth thinking, no complexity. For skills and concepts, this is the second level of DOK. I done both. I done 2 for US history and 2 for skills and questions. My first one for US history was, why is the Declaration of Independence an important document of US history? Again, for skills and concepts, this requires application of knowledge and understanding of the material. Students have previously been taught this knowledge and should at this point be able to answer this question. Another one for history I put was, how did the geography of the early United States affect the development of colonies? Again, the teacher has already taught this information and students are just answering the questions based off of the information they have retained. For our skills questions, for the skills part of it, I wanted to explore a different playing field. So I used how can you use the map scale to determine the difference between two cities? Also, what is the difference between a political map and a physical map? Again, it requires you to know and have been taught this information and not so much as in depth thinking. Did I skip one? No. Our third level is strategic thinking. The historical events and decision questions that I chose for this was if you are a leader during the American Revolution, would you have supported independence or stayed loyal to Britain? What would your reasoning be? As you can tell, as we progressed, these questions are becoming longer, more in depth, and are causing students to have to use those critical thinking skills, have some inquiries, be able to ask your peers. These are those questions where I can use a class discussion to help students get a different viewpoint or understand the material more in depth. For extended thinking, this is your last block. I tried to implement both art into this one because art can show you a lot of things about history as well. One of my questions is how can art communicate the importance of human rights and why is it important for artists to create works that speak on these issues? What would a piece of art look like that addresses the right to freedom, equality, and justice? Another one I personally liked and put in here was why do you think the Bill of Rights was added to the Constitution? If it was not a part of the US Constitution, how would citizens' rights be different today? That is a huge global issue. We're still fighting for certain rights in the US and globally. So if we in the US did not have that Bill of Rights, I feel like that would be an important question. It'll help a student think. What if I didn't have certain rights? What would I be able to do and what would I not be able to do? A few assessment strategies for formative assessments for DOK, I believe that allow peer discussions. Peer discussions is important. As a teacher is walking around in the zones, in her power zones or all the zones around the classroom, it is important that as she's allowing peer discussions for these questions, for certain questions, she's listening to how students are engaging with their peers. She or he is listening to how students are responding and answering the question. And not even that, we're told as I'm walking around the classroom in my district, we're told to walk around with our clipboard and it has the students' names on it, and you're able to put plus, divide, and it just means basically if a student's understanding, if a student needs more work on it, this can help you gauge and implement different things within your lesson to help students better grasp information or know if you are okay to move on. Another one that I need to fix that. Another one that I put in for formative assessments is a quick recall quiz. At the end of a lesson, sorry for snapping. At the end of a lesson, implement a quiz. This can be a 4-question quiz. It does not have to be a really long quiz. It just allows you to know the information that the students grasp really well and the information that you may need to cover a little more the next day. Lastly, exit tickets. Exit tickets are very, very important. I have an exit ticket on every lesson that I teach during a unit. Well, majority of my lessons during the unit have exit tickets, and that's because the information that I've taught in class, they want to ensure that the students have grasped the content and actually understand the material. For summative assessments, these are assessments where you're getting your more that data, that number data. So for these, I chose a project focused on one event in history using questions given by the instructor. That project will allow you to get a more understanding as to physically see what students are actually retaining. Another one is a multiple choice test. This is similar to the quick recall quiz, but the difference is the multiple choice test will not be given until the end of a unit. For instance, in my district, we have a pausing point. At that pausing point, that's when students have an assessment over all of the material that they've learned. Another one is a short answers questions. You can implement some summary, just given the students given a brief summary of a question that you have chosen for what you've taught over to ensure that they can identify the important information that you've just spoken about. Lastly is a structured essay. I like these because they're able to show you a lot of things about students' writing. They're able to show you a lot of things about students' vocabulary. They're able to show you a lot of things about the knowledge and how they're able to organize the important events or the important information within their essays. Overall, both of these assessments are pretty important within classrooms. Next, I have two digital tools that I would use or that I currently use. One of those is Google Classroom. This is very important. This is where I create my class in Google Classroom. I can assign projects, and with these projects, students are able to go in their groups and collaborate together to present their projects. I am able to post quizzes. If I want students to take a quick, sorry for snapping use, I have it. If I want students to take a quick quiz, I'm able to upload it up to Google Classroom. They click on the quiz or the link wherever I have it, and then they're able to take it. Easy, simple. I love it because even in Google Docs, when they're doing the collaborations, they're able to I prefer for them to leave notes for their peers, for them to be able to tell them, hey, you can add a little bit here. Or if they just would like, I always encourage, if you feel like your peer needs a little bit more information in an area, it's okay to tell them, hey, I see this information and I would like for you to well, I wouldn't like for you, but I would like if we can implement some more in this area. It's a great collaboration skill for me. Google Classroom is great. Another one is Nearpod. I'm able to be interactive. I'm able to be engaging. And this one I am not as familiar with, but I thought it would be a great thing for students who may be online as well. It's interactive and engaging, and it has a collaborative board students can also add to. Teachers can create polls, quizzes, and add videos to enhance their lessons. Overall, depth of knowledge levels helps students build those skills they need, build those critical skills, build those reasoning skills, build those planning skills, collaboration skills. It helps students be able to grasp the content that is needed within that grade level and hopefully further. Again, my name is Christian Thomas, and thank you for watching my presentation.